Hello and welcome. Today is the 15th. It is day 88. There are 2 more days to go till I hit 90 days for quitting marijuana or quitting video games, and it'll be like I think it's 104 for quitting marijuana. Holy double eights. 2 more days and then I'm back to reflecting on my progress. It's been sustainable. I've been thinking about it today and talked about it briefly with a friend this morning while at our workout. How, like the weight gain, the things that have changed that have been for the good have been sustainable because they were small changes that I was able to sort of roll into and create a momentum effect, keeping them going because they were small in nature. 5 minutes of writing every morning reminded me of the things that I had taken from the day earlier. And yeah, it was beneficial to have that done and to do those things. And then further, talking about what the plan is for afterwards, I definitely have gotten to the point where I've decided I'm not taking any marijuana with me on vacation. 2 reasons. Number 1, it feels like it would be a retreat back into a person that I'm not anymore. And number 2, I keep finding myself not missing it. Like I keep finding myself in situations where I go, oh, it would be nice to have a joint right now, and then I think about having a joint, and what I think about is, okay, I'll have the joint, and then when it wears off, I'll have to have another one if I don't go straight to bed. And if I don't have the follow-up, the constant follow-up, I won't be able to enjoy it. Because I'll be looking for that follow-up. I'll want that follow-up. I'll want another one or another hit, or like with a pen, I'll need it again and again. And when the first one runs out on vacation, then I'm going to be stuck wanting more. And that is enough of a fuck around for me to just say, screw it, I'm good. However, a friend of mine offered to loan me a PlayStation to play Ghost of Tsushima, so I'm happy about that because it means I don't have to buy it and I can play it through and then return the PlayStation. I have a PlayStation, but he has his already preloaded on his one, and he offered to loan it to me so I could play that game, and that's nice. The game's still $60 to buy, and you can get it cheaper secondhand, but not much cheaper. It's still a relatively new game, and it's a game that I've been wanting to play for a while. Ever since I saw them start to make it, I'm not a weeb, but I do have an interest in Japanese culture. And even though this is typically a typically overdone Japanese culture game, I'm okay with that. I don't need a crazy amount of historical accuracy. And then, yeah, looking forward to our first date night playing LA Noire. So I feel like I'm coming to the end of the 90 days and sort of reaching a more balanced view of things, and hopefully finding a way to reincorporate it back in a way that's not, where it doesn't take over all my time and it doesn't become a thing that I'm always doing whenever I don't have anything to do. I have a building project. I tore up a pallet. Pallet wood isn't very good wood normally, but this pallet wood was actually is in good shape, and it was the right lengths and or widths and thicknesses that I was looking for to build a boot/shoe rack by our door. The one that we have at the moment is like 10 years old, and it's one I had from my first marriage that needs to be thrown out because it's falling apart. The glue's coming undone, and it's too small anyway. So I'm going to be putting that together. I have some power tools showing up tomorrow that I'm going to use to cut and fasten that together. cut, sand, fasten, and then stain. I'm gonna stain it for indoor use. Maybe like a coffee brown, or maybe like a mocha brown, something like that, like a walnut stain, a dark brown stain, so that it's not as it is. And I've been enjoying that. I've been enjoying being outside on my workbench, actually doing projects again. It sucks that we don't have the garage space, or really the basement space to put a workbench in and do projects in the basement. If we had more space in the back here, or if we were staying here longer, if we had bought this place as we were planning to do, I would cut a bunch of stuff out of here and put in a workbench so that I could do stuff down in there, because it's a nice space. Like, there's enough room in there to have a workbench and to do some small projects without making a huge mess. But yeah, at this point it's mostly I'm doing it outside, so I'm kind of limited. Can't leave anything on the bench clamped, overnight, just in case it starts raining and I end up with a project that's all warped and fucked up. But regardless, that's a thing. And then a month from now, mid-June, I'll be going out to take more cuttings, looking at the spruces that are out back. And a friend of mine has a couple of Japanese maples, a green one and a red one, so I'll be going to visit him to get some cuttings to get started with those. My intention is still to try to make a tree happen from cuttings, and if I only get one if I only get one to root this year, I'll consider that a success, and that'll be my first bonsai tree going forward. I'm kind of excited about that. And then hopefully reincorporating games back into my hobbies as a way of, I've thought about it, and what I want to do is use it as a way to finish work, game for a couple of hours, and then when Angie gets home, then I go upstairs and we hang out and have dinner and the rest. And because I've struggled having a break from work, because when you work from home, you never get in a car and commute and have time to break off from working. You're always in your office in a lot of ways, so this is a way. Not so much in summer. I can leave the house, I can go for a walk when it's warm out, or when it's not like rainy or whatever, and kind of get a disconnect from working. But I feel like this is another way to kind of make that work and reincorporate it in a moderate way. But yeah, so yeah, game went really well yesterday. I had a game out that was a 30-minute drive up north. Couple of teams. One team I've met before. The other team I hadn't met. But I knew the game was going well when I heard how salty the coaches were getting, how fired up they were getting about everything. It was quite even. One team had slightly better discipline than the other team, and they were getting the ball wider, so they were able to score more. But the game was close enough, and each team had enough opportunities that I felt like by the end of the game it went pretty well. Spectators got into it. The coaches were happy at the end of the game. I learned a couple of things, and I had a couple of questions going ahead. I'm actually going to visit a friend tonight. We're going out for dinner, or going for a grill out at a friend's place. So my intention is to ask him some questions about the game, some decisions that not decisions, but things that I'm wondering about that I don't know the exact answer to. And he's a senior person, so he should be able to help me out with those questions. Yeah, that's really about it. Didn't get sunburnt. I've gotten tanned enough on my face and in my arms and everything now that I'm not getting sunburnt anymore. Of course, the problem is, it goes from brown. You can't really see it here, but it goes from brown to white. And I have the farmer's tan, where I have the neck and the head is brown, and then the rest of me is. So, yeah, I've had that my whole life, though. I didn't used to spend a lot of time outside with my shirt off, because you get sunburnt in like 10 minutes in New Zealand. So, and I didn't like being sunburnt. No one really does. But now that I have a bald head, it's every season there's like that first 2 days that you're out in the sun, you forget, and then you get sunburned, and then after that it turns brown, and then you don't get sunburned anymore. Anyway, that's it for me. Happy Saturday, everyone. Ka kite.